Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Song Radio Show. My name is Leon Jones. This evening's topic, I'm going to talk about men and standards. Men need to have standards when they date. Why? Well, it will help your psyche because if you understand how to pick out certain characteristics of a woman, then you're going to look at women a little differently. See, a number of us men have been trained to cater to women, and that has allowed women, no matter how relevant or irrelevant they are, to be put on a pedestal. We always tell women, even if they're not beautiful, that they're beautiful. We always tell them that they are good women, even if they aren't good women. What we're doing, we're filling their ego up. And this is why a number of women are narcissistic. And now that's not a woman's fault. That's our fault. Because, guys, the problem that we have is we think with our dicks first. Because when it comes to dating, and I just believe dating is a waste of time in today's culture because it's not worth sitting in front of a woman who's already gone from guy to guy to guy to guy. So she already knows the game out here. But if you're really looking for someone who is wife material, then you really need standards. And too many black men and there's some Hispanic men, we are perceived as being the cleanup men, especially when it comes to races outside of us. We tend to get the leftovers, which is not always true because that woman that's a little chubby can be a good woman. But you have to look past the chubbiness sometimes and look at her mental state. Because a number of women out here, they have a childlike mindset. The princess syndrome, just like I did in the previous video. A number of them are narcissistic. They're schizophrenic. In other words, they're very delusional in their behaviors because they use certain monikers like queen, diva, and goddess to build themselves up. And that comes from guys, simps, anginas, white knights, and eunuchs. Why they call women queens? Well, they worship them like goddesses because men don't feel confident in themselves. So what they want to do, they want to give women everything that they want, but this woman really doesn't respect you. See, women, for the most part, have three different types of men. They have the guy I call Dexter St. Jock, which he's the maintenance man. He's fucking her for free. They have the stable guy. He's paying all the bills. And then they have Poindexter, who's the simp. He's taking her out to dinner. She always keeps those three guys on her leash. This is why she gets taken care of. This is also why she'll tell you, well, I don't need a man. Of course she doesn't need a man when you have the government taking care of you and you also have a string of guys who are helping you through all of your ups and downs in life. And what we have to understand, guys, is we are not counselors. If she comes in with a bunch of problems and a bunch of baggage, it is our duty and obligation not to deal with her because, in other words, she's going to try to bring her problems into the relationship. Let me give you an example. If she has student loan problems, she's going to try to nudge you into helping her pay her student loans. Just like women having standards. I will give this to women. They do have standards no matter how unrealistic they are. They have standards. Now, unfortunately, it's the wrong types of women who have standards. If you at the bottom of the barrel, you have no car, you're on welfare, and you're a baby's mama, and you expect a whole lot out of a man, you just don't make sense. And you have a number of them who think like that. Why? Because in their eyes, they think if a guy fucks them, has his baby, she has that man. That's very far from the truth because a lot of these women out here are ancient bitches. Let's just be honest. But when you as a guy cater to her ego, that's not a woman's fault. And again, you have a lot of ain't shit guys out here as well. Why? Because guys really don't care about themselves. They let society beat them into submission. And that's what society wants to do. Society wants men to be the punching bag. And it's easy for a man to be a punching bag, even though he's providing most of his money from being confiscated from his hard-earned money to pay for these government programs so women can have a life. See, women put less into the system than men do. Men just don't know that because they're not aware of it, because they don't pay attention to it. So what I'm trying to do is give you some type of metric or measurement to analyze the woman you are dating to see if she fits your criteria. See, men, you have to be selfish about what you're dating. You cannot allow a woman to shame you into dating her, particularly if she's a single mom. And these are the 4 types of women that are toxic to most men. And some of the characteristics may overlap when it comes to women or women. The single mom, the educated woman, the career-minded woman, and a religious woman. They all have one thing in common. They're hypocritical. They don't like to be called out. They don't like to be wrong. They don't like to be corrected. I'm not going to say they're stubborn because that's the easy way out. These 4 types of women are very narcissistic in how they conduct their lives. It's all about them. These are the women, for the most part, particularly the single mom. She calls herself the diva, the queen, the goddess. She's the one who says she's thick. Now, I like large women, but when a woman is out of shape and morbidly obese, you're not a thick woman. You are a fat woman. When a woman goes to church and she starts preaching the Bible, but then she wants to go to bed with me and she's separated, because separated means you are still married, but you're telling me you're going to do certain things to me sexually in bed while you are in bed with me. You're supposed to be religious, but then you tell me you'll do something else when you want to get married, but yet you're in bed with me. I'm using this as an example. You're in bed with me telling me what you're going to give me. If a woman tells me she's going to pleasure me in a certain way, that's the woman you don't need. Why? Because she's not going to do a good job. She's giving you shut-up sex, and that's generally what a number of us brothers get when it comes to women. We get very little effort from women these days, but we're supposed to put in all of the effort. Case in point, let me give you some rules of dating. Rule number 1 is don't kiss a woman's ass to get her attention. Wait 90 days or less to see if a woman's going to participate in the dates. And when I'm talking about participating, see if she's going to bring something to the table. See if she's going to leave a tip. See if she's going to pay for dates. See if she's going to invite a man out. And if she doesn't, give her 3 dates. If she doesn't, let her go. She's already telling you that it's not her job to pay for dates. And if she grumbles about paying for dates, and she says, well, I never said anything about being equal, you let her go, because now she's using the hypocrisy to try to get out of participating in the date. That's the narcissist part of her. Beware of that. Number 2, don't ever cater to a woman's ego. Put her on a pedestal or chase her for dates. Too many of us are climbing out the windows or spending a lot of money for women who don't want to be with us, whether they're online dating or in person. You have to follow the action when it comes to dealing with women. Too many guys don't follow the action. Don't listen to what she says. Look at what she does. Because what I'm telling you is the game on how you can save yourself from a lot of headaches, because dates can be costly. And now you make sure that woman as well has a car, has her own job. Now, it's not an achievement to be an adult, ladies. A number of ladies, I got my own car, I got my own job. Well, that's great. You're supposed to. You're an adult. And if I was evaluating you, you get a satisfactory because you're supposed to have that. That's part of being an adult. Now, number 3, if it's the first date and a man is paying, go somewhere that's expensive. In fact, if you can get away with it, go to a coffee shop. Because the first date really isn't a date, it's a meeting. You're trying to break the ice. Now, before you go on any date, you make sure you talk on a phone and have enough phone time logged in to see if she's worthy to take out on a date. You must, guys, you got to look at a woman's mental state. And too many of us forget that. And when we forget that, we go out with a woman that is unsuitable to be with us. We have to stop looking at the outside. We need to look inside and outside of a woman, because many women aren't wife material today because they don't present themselves as being wife material. They present themselves as petulant children. I've said this. You got to listen to me on this, fellas. Also, ask a woman what her long-term and short-term goals are. That's the reverse psychology, Steve Harvey psychology. Oh, yeah, we can use that on women too. And ladies, you can take some of these rules and use them too, because there are some good women out there. Because this is not referring to all women, but a number of you have utilized feminism, that ideology, and the government, and you've allowed that to be part of your lives instead of thinking for yourself. So I'm not picking on you ladies. I'm just telling men what they need to do when they date you, so they do not become miserable. And it helps them peel back some of the layers and understand women, because a lot of men don't understand women. So this guide that I created was for the men. And of course, guys must have standards when they're trying to meet women. Guys don't have any standards, particularly black men. Black men are too much into consent, the sex. And it makes us look like we'll fuck just about anything. And it, believe it or not, we will. Many of us guys. That's the problem. This is why you are seeing guys out here thinking that they have a woman, and it's a dude who's a she-male or a transsexual. Because we're quick to stick our dicks into anything. We don't think about what we're doing. And at the end of the day, we're going to have two things happen to us. We're going to end up with a baby mama or a disease. Both can be fatal blows to our livelihood. Remember that. Okay. Ask her what she can bring to a relationship other than her body. See, a woman believes that all we want from her is pussy. Now, there are some guys who want that. The problem with that is guys have thrown all their beliefs out the window to get the pussy. And this is why they become simps, eunuchs, manginas, and white knights. Also, when they are characterized with those 4 adjectives that I've mentioned, they become very emotional. They start acting like women. And at the end of the day, once their resources are drained, then they want to go out and hunt this woman down, because now they have finally seen the light when they should have seen the light at the beginning. Guys, follow the action. Oh, okay. When you communicate with a female, make sure that you speak directly to her by looking into her eyes. Also, you can be raw about your conversation, but be tactful. Show some decorum, some self-respect in yourself. Because as a man, I respect myself when I go out and present information to anybody, even being on YouTube, even if I say a few curse words. Big part of dissecting a woman. Ask her what type of family she comes from. A number of these women have been molested, raped by their own family members, particularly the men in their families. Why? Because the men in their families weren't about shit. The moms in their families, look at them too. See how many times they complain about the dad. Oh, your daddy ain't shit. Well, you ain't shit for picking that dude. So you got to eat your words as well, because a lot of these moms are very angry out here and are putting bullshit into their children's head, particularly their daughters. They're making the sons simps, and they're making the daughters evil little bitches themselves. And it's not the daughter's fault. You blame that on the mom. And family structure is very important because that dictates the foundation to how you're going to be in your own life. And a lot of us imitate what we see in our family. A number of women have been abused physically and verbally. Family structure must be checked out, because if she comes from an unstable background, guys, best believe the good Lord ain't going to change her mind, because she's going to deny that she has a problem. And that's a problem in itself. Also, I've seen this happen. Do not pay her bills or even adopt her children or move in with her, and don't have her move in with you if she is still raising children. Now, children are grown children, grandchildren, or minor children. That will screw up your life. You want your own pad. You don't want to move in with her because she'll call the shots. When she gets upset, she's going to want to put you out. She's going to make you feel like you are nothing because she's calling all the shots. This is why you have to have your own. And having your own will show her that you don't need her. And men, we are supposed to be independent and self-sufficient. People who build are the ones who come up with the plans. So we must have independent thinking. We must be responsible as adults, as men. No doubt about it. Also, again, because I do a lot of videos on mental health issues, this 10th rule you definitely need to do. Check out her behavior when you talk to her on the phone or in person. See if she's bipolar, schizophrenic, sociopathic, insecure, narcissistic. Because this is where the princess syndrome comes in. If she's going to tell you, well, other guys did this for me, or my preacher said, you want to let her go immediately, because I can tell you right now, she's not looking to make you number one. She's about herself, and she's about fulfilling other guys like celebrities, like the preacher, that she can't have, but she's fantasizing about. You want to be in a position to where you're getting a return on your investment. I have a acronym called MEET: money, energy, emotions, and time. A lot of these women don't intend to go out with you, particularly on online dating. They're just there for the attention, because many of them are undesirable and they're whack. And these types of women over appraise themselves. Now you have women who aren't on online dating who are doing the same thing. And guys, you got to let a woman know, because you have a job and a car, it doesn't make you worthy of getting a good man. You have to have a good behavior, realistic standards, and you have to be willing to participate in a relationship as a woman. Also, here's one thing that pertains mostly to the older women. If a woman cannot separate motherhood from womanhood, because you have a number of women who are overly devoted to their grown children, grandchildren, parents, and other family members, don't get involved with her. Why? Well, this goes back to the fact on some online dating sites where women will say, my children are my life, my family is the most important to me. She's already telling you where you're going to rank in a relationship if you get involved with her. You will be miserable and you will waste your time. If she's not in a position to make you number one, Don't try to convince her to make you number one. Don't get involved with her. Find somebody else that is going to accept you and the qualities that you're bringing to the table. Also, another thing that's very, very important, many of us don't talk to a woman long enough. We think that texting back and forth is communicating. It is, but it is a passive way of communicating. It's not very personable. Well, talk on the telephone. If you're online and you give your phone number out, now I know there's safety involved, but I'm 52 years old. What did we do before we had this technology? We exchanged phone numbers, and the same shenanigans happened back then, just like they do now. It wasn't widely publicized because there wasn't any 24-hour media. But you exchange phone numbers, you talk on the phone, 2 weeks to a month. Why? Because you're trying to get an analysis of her behavior to see if she's worth meeting. Now, again, you log in enough phone time before you meet with a woman, and you talk about topics that she's not comfortable with. Don't talk to her about family, the kids, to eat, because she's going to give you a lot of blah, 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 blah. Talk to her about religion, politics, unwanted pregnancies, relationship breaking, marriage, living together, sex education, as well as morals and values. Those are topics that you can find out where her belief system is. They're also uncomfortable, and she's not going to really utilize those topics. Why? Because she doesn't know anything about those topics. See, a number of women, although they have college degrees, are not very intellectual. They're talkative. They want to talk about themselves all day and going shopping and going to church, but they don't want to talk about their potential role of what it is to be a partner, because a number of them don't want to be partners. And this is how you separate the good stuff from the junk. Okay, when you meet a woman, this is crucial, guys, and she constantly talks about other people, such as her friends, her kids, her preacher, and her grandkids. It means that she doesn't have any other life's experiences, and she's not up to date on current events. The purpose of dating is for you and her to get to know each other. Also, this is something you need to understand, particularly if she is a mom. Being a mom does not mean that she's going to be a good girlfriend or a wife. And of course, again, it goes back to something I've always said. If she cannot separate womanhood from mommyhood, you need to let her go, because she is not going to be a good partner, because again, she's ranking you at the bottom. Now, as a guy, don't take her kindness for weakness. If she's a good woman, her attention needs to be valued. That's exactly right. There are good women out there. You don't want to put a woman in a predicament where she's going to beat down men, because she may have already been beaten down previously before she met you. However, you will detect that in analyzing her behavior. But there are good women out there, and they should be treated as such, as long as they respect themselves. Also, don't abuse women mentally or physically. You will end up with a felony, and a felony could land you in jail, and that's possibly a loss of freedom. The system is not kind to men. This is why you also must be careful where you put your dick, because the minute you let that nut out, that could cost you $350,000 or more over the next 18 to 21 years. Also, if you ask her out, there's nothing wrong with paying for the date. However, if she doesn't ask you out or even participate in the dates, again, don't go out with this woman. Why? Because she's looking for a free meal, and you have a number of women who are doing that. Also, show her chivalry if she has earned it. It's not looking up to a female, it's letting her know that you're polite. Make sure that she shows you the same politeness as well. And if she doesn't, you don't have time to deal with her because it's going to be non-stop drama. Again, I've given you my dating rules 1 through 18. I'll come back with a part 2 because it's 52 or 53 rules I'm going to go over so you men understand how to date better. Because if you were doing it correctly, a number of you young men, even older men, wouldn't be as depressed about women as you are, and you would know what to look for in a woman. There's nothing wrong with having a good woman, but she has to earn your services. She has to serve you. It's not about you serving her. A number of women think that it's our job to cater to them. Women don't dictate the relationship. You dictate the relationship as a guy, particularly if you have the resources. Now, she has a voice. You can hear what she has to say. But the bottom line, listen to what she says if it makes sense. Again, some of these women are hypocrites. They use church as a convenience. They use names like diva, goddess to really build their appraisal. You can see everything about her when you talk to her, and you can hear what she has to say over the phone. But when it comes to any woman, because men, we get judged, so you need to judge her. Love is not unconditional. It's conditional. We don't accept everything. We don't have to accept everything. So what I'm telling you guys to do is be smart when you select a good woman. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You don't look for her to validate you. You validate yourself because you are the one who's a man. And without men in this country, we wouldn't have a country. Because if you look around you, women don't build. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for this evening, Tuesday, August 29th, 2017. You can tune into the 401 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. And if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in controversy, emotional, or debates, nor do I participate in drama and or unnecessary bickering because it is a waste of time. It's counterproductive. What I do on my channel is teach. I give you that information so you can apply the methods to the real world, because if you don't have the information, you're not going to understand the real world. And the real world is very challenging. So the information that I deliver is positive, it's research, and I also give you my own points of view so you don't make the same mistakes I make. Because when you have knowledge, you have power. And if you have a topic, a new YouTube channel, and or a business that you would like for me to talk about on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering, if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed evening.